All right, so this next form of question, you've got a car traveling 10 meters per second, speeds up to 15 meters per second in 1 second. The first thing wanted us to find the acceleration. Recall that your acceleration is going to be your change in velocity, right? So final velocity minus initial velocity over the amount of time. In this case, our final speed is 15 meters per second. The initial speed was 10 meters per second, and all this happens in 1 second. So to simplify that out, 15 minus 10 would be 5, right? So 5 meters per second, and that occurs in 1 second. And so that is going to be your acceleration, 5 meters per second per second. So what that means is every single second that this car is traveling, their little speedometer is going up by 5 meters per second every single second. Okay? And then we're going to take that value to figure out how long it's going to take us for the car to go from 15 meters per second to 45 meters per second. Okay, so 15 meters per second to 45 meters per second. We can do this in a couple of ways. Let's first actually just math it out. So we've got our acceleration equation, right? Change in velocity over time is equal to acceleration. Well, in this case, we already have the acceleration. Okay, so acceleration is equal to 5 meters per second per second. Okay, we also have our change in velocity. Okay, so our change in velocity to go from 15 to 45, that's a change of 30 meters per second. Okay, and the only thing that we're missing is the time. That's what we don't have. Okay, so if this is our acceleration equation, right, we're just going to plug in what we have. So acceleration is 5 meters per second per second. That's going to be equal to our change in velocity, which is 30 meters per second. And that's all over t, or time, which we don't have. Okay, so to get t all by itself, we'll multiply both sides by time. So 5 meters per second times time is equal to 30, right? Simplify this again, divide both sides by 5. Okay, and you end up with time is equal to 6 seconds. Okay. The other way you could think about this too is if we are starting at 15 and we're trying to go to 45 meters per second, and we know that our acceleration is 5 meters per second, right? Every second we're going 5 meters per second faster. So if we start at 15, another second later, we're going 20, then 25, then 30, then 35, then 40, then 45. Okay, so we're looking at, there we go. We're looking at 6 seconds overall to make that change. So you could do it a handful of ways, literally.